Hi, welcome there. Welcome to another show of Thol'thuba Athletics with me, myself, Raymond Bhusesi. Today is a very special day. We have been waiting for this guest. A lot of people have been asking me, when is this going to happen? But we finally have him on the show, Travis Gordon. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
It's always a pleasure. Tell a little backstory. When I was doing my research about Travis Gordon, I asked a few athletes, what question do you think I should ask him? And let me give you direct quotes of what they said. Travis Gordon, a god. I once played against him at Cares. He bounces dudes like it's nothing. If that doesn't give you an idea of what's about to happen, another said, tell him he's only walked past the stands once, and everyone who was talking trash completely kept quiet. Travis freaking Gordon. Man, seeing that now you're classified as a god, can you please take it back to when you're a young boy and how did your journey and passion for rugby start?
So it's actually quite weird. The day I was born, my dad actually put a rugby ball in my crib.
Wow.
So obviously, I don't know why my dad put it in, and how I ended up playing rugby. But my first ever rugby training, I was 6. I was playing with the under 8s at somewhere in the south. I can't remember the name now. And one of my first training sessions, I got run over. Like this big oak under 8 came at me, I got run over. And my dad said to me that day, Trav, remember, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I got up, my head was sore, kept going, and every day I kept going back. Then started playing rugby at school, just at Kips, really enjoyed it. Made under 13, the B side of it in the Lions, and then went to Cares. And that's really where my true passion for rugby and when I saw my career or the potential to have a career in rugby blossom. So that's where it started. And then, that was
That's
where my
it.
roots were, yeah.
Now, I want to point out the development phase of your career because in athlete, I think that's where you get to really know yourself, work on your strengths and your weaknesses. Your development phase, are there any figures in that phase that you would like to mention and like mention the roles that they played?
So, crucial in my development going through high school, when obviously you then start realizing your dreams, was Cole Spillhouse.
Okay.
A lot of Cares boys know Mr. Spillhouse. He was extremely hard on you, but one of the greatest coaches I've worked with. Knew his rugby detail. If he saw the potential in you as a player, he made sure he got the best out of you. Another one would be Mr. Mzwaki Nkosi. I'm with him now at the Lions.
Yeah.
We go all the way back to grade 5. That's where he started coaching me at Keps. Worked with me at the Keps first side, then I joined him again at the Kes first side, and now at under 19 Lions, under 21 Lions, I've been with him. So my whole journey is pretty much me and Mr. Nkosi been following each other through the ranks. And then the third guy would be would be Senna Estesen.
Yeah.
He, my grade 11 year, unfortunately I got injured for majority of it, but just the learning and the way he saw the game and the way he wanted rugby to be played really opened up my eyes to how I can play as a player and how I can develop as a player. So those are the 3 key major figures at school who helped me develop into the player I'm trying to be. Yeah.
Yes. Seeing that they were there and they sort of helped you look within yourself and find your passion, find your magic. When you look at yourself as a figure on the field and off the field, but it's more especially on the field, what do you think are your biggest strengths?
My biggest strengths in the field would be my leadership. Knowing which one of my players you need to be hard on, which one of your players you got to tell it, like pick them up and build up their confidence. So just knowing my teammates, knowing what makes guys tick, that'll be one of my biggest strengths. My next strength would be my understanding of the game.
Yeah.
Knowing all our set pieces, knowing how we want to play, why we want to play, how we need to defend, who needs to be where.
Yeah.
So like my overall game knowledge and my knowing of my players would be my 2 biggest strengths.
Your 2 things. Do you want to speak about your weaknesses?
Weaknesses?
You don't think you have any to go
I've definitely got weaknesses. I'm just thinking about longevity. So avoiding injuries was at the moment's definitely been one that keeps coming up. And then more rugby specific, it would be just not really a weakness, but a work on would be just staying over the ball on the breakdown slightly longer. So that would be my 2 things that I would say in my game at the moment that have been that are a little bit of like weaknesses.
You can work on.
Call it that.
Speaking on injuries, I mean, you mentioned that it's a factor that's beyond your control,
Yeah.
and it has quite happened frequently in your career. I
Yeah.
guess it must be very frustrating. Do you think there are any tools that have been put out for you that can help you move through that difficult phase in an athlete's career?
So, obviously, being a rugby player, injuries are part of the game.
Yeah.
Some guys are really lucky with injuries. They go through a whole career,
Yeah.
walk out perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Other guys walk out like bionic men. Every joint's been reconstructed.
Yeah.
To those youngsters, coming up, do whatever you can injury prevention wise. So do your prehab, make sure you work hard in the gym. So make sure that you're strong enough to be able to withstand the contact that you're going to be putting your body into, and then doing all the small boring exercises that no one likes doing.
Yeah.
It's like 15-20 minutes of your time with using an elastic band, making sure your body's moving properly, that we often tend to neglect.
Yeah.
We're so focused on getting strong, getting big, and like working on our skills, that we don't focus on the thing that keeps us on the field, which is our body.
Yeah.
So make sure you're doing your prehab, your rehab. Make sure you sleep in like 8 hours a day, getting your recovery in. Just looking after your moneymaker in the sense of making sure your body's in the best condition possible. And then if an injury happens, like all three of my injuries have been freak in contact injuries where I couldn't really have prevented them. It was just the angle of force. If that happens, then you're not upset that you haven't done rehab or you haven't done, and then it wasn't in my control. The injury happened and I can't do anything more to prevent it, but at least you can prevent all the other injuries that might have happened if you hadn't done your rehab.
True. Your career has been nothing but a blessing, not only in your life, but the people around you. But throughout the difficult phases of your career, what really keeps you going? What makes you wake up every day and go to training? What's the exciting factor for it?
The first would be not having achieved what I want to achieve in rugby yet. Obviously, my school career was only 5 years, but professional career is obviously much longer.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of goals I want to achieve, playing first division rugby here in South Africa, playing for my country. Those goals that I still haven't achieved yet, so there's something I'm still working towards. And then also to inspire the younger generations coming through, be it a boy at school, be it some 45-year-old lad at home watching the game, for them to just look up and be like, I want to play rugby because of Travis, or because of what that team is doing, is the reason why I keep getting up, working hard. And that's what also, when you're injured, there's a goal to come back.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy, and that's why it's the journey. I'm not just focused on the goal, it's the journey, the whole journey that I'm focused on, and not the end product.
Take me back to that moment when you got the call that, Travis, we need you for the under-21s Lions team. What is going through your head? Did you think it was actually possible? Did you expect it to happen?
So being with the Lions, like having like signed a contract with them, obviously like you wanna be like, being signed, you then obviously you go in, you're working hard, but there's so many good guys in the union and guys coming in from varsity and coming in like from the outside that they're bringing in, if they've seen as potential, to be able to then still get picked and still work hard and still make sure that you're getting in the side, even though you are one of the contracted players. It's still a privilege, and you're still representing the union.
True.
And you're still representing yourself, you're representing your family, your friends, all the people who've backed you throughout your life. To then go out there and play and be picked is obviously like really exciting, and what we love to do.
Yeah.
Like pre-season is dark times, it's not fun, but going out, representing your team, playing out there with your mates, that's what we live for, and that's what we really, really enjoy.
Yeah. I remember 2019 with the national team winning the Rugby World Cup. From my perspective, it was a reason for me, and I'm assuming all South Africans, to be happy, go and have a braai, have drinks and all of that. But you as a player, did it actually put pressure on you to think that the next World Cup, it could possibly be me on that field and I have to deliver? Or was it like a thing of no pressure, it's my journey, we'll see what will happen?
It wasn't pressure, it was inspiring. It was inspiring for me in the sense of it brought the country together. So like, I know at the time there was there was unrest in the country, and you saw when we won that World Cup, everyone was out. everyone was celebrating together. Everyone was like loving the country and supporting like the Springboks, and for me as a player, it's like I want to be there in the next World Cup or the following World Cup. I want to be there, and I want to be the reason why. I want to be the reason to inspire the nation. For everyone to forget about their problems and just pull together and enjoy being human, enjoy the connection of being a country and being proud. So I wouldn't say there's any pressure going forward. Obviously, the next World Cup, we are the defending champs, so there will be pressure on the guys. But as a youngster coming through the ranks, just to see the impact that the Springboks had on the country as a whole, gave me another goal, like that I've set for myself to be I want to be part of a team that inspires our nation.
Yeah. I like how you mentioned the unrest that was there in the country during the World Cup, the build up to it, whether it be racial or anything like that. Do you think it's important for athletes to be vocal about social issues, or you think it's not their place? They should just stick on what's on the field and they should do that?
I think it's very much the athletes to their own in what they believe in. Obviously, if something's not right, if you've got the platform to speak out and you've got the following, you can look at the likes of LeBron James, those guys in the US, and look at Sia now, the impact Sia's making with his organization. So if athletes have got the platform to speak out and to help out, then I think athletes should speak out on it, but only if they believe in the cause and not just doing it because
everyone's doing it.
True. So also, like, I know it is also tough being an athlete to sometimes speak out on issues just based on just gotta word this properly, sorry.
Not a problem, man.
Like, obviously, like, athletes are also expected to perform on the field. So sometimes athletes might see it as a distraction of what's happening off the field, but at the end of the day, if you don't believe in what's happening off the field and you've got the platform, speak out. Like, especially with gender-based violence.
True.
All of that stuff. Like, we've got the platform. Look at what Varsity Cup's doing. They're saying thank you to the workers now during COVID. Last year was against gender. So sport as a whole has also got the platform with its following to help curb issues in the country. Yeah.
True. Okay, enough with the serious stuff now. Let's turn it down a notch. Travis, before a game, do you still get nervous? Seeing that you've been doing this for so long, before a game, does it still make you nervous?
If I don't prepare properly for the game, it's nerves. But knowing that I've done all I can throughout the week to be prepared for that game, it's more like it's an excitement, not really I'm nervous. So I'm excited to get going. I enjoy coming out to play. It's not I'm nervous and I don't know if I'm going to perform. So knowing like I've prepped throughout the week, it's more of an excitement to finally be on the field. You've worked hard for 5 days. You've worked hard for the 4 months of pre-season. And now it's time to go out there and express yourself. So I wouldn't say it's nerves, it's more excitement and like just eagerness to go.
Yeah. Speaking about eagerness to go, a lot of athletes have the frustration of going through all that hard work, going to practice, being on time, but coaches not selecting them to play. I'm not quite sure if you've been in that position. If you have, what do you think are the principles and like morals one should have to go through that phase? Because it's somewhat beyond your control.
You've just got to, like you said, it's beyond your control, but you just got to go out there and keep doing what you're doing. Keep making sure you're working hard in the gym, training hard on the field, and your time will eventually come. I know, like, it is frustrating when you're not getting chosen, but like you said, it's not in your control. If the coach selects these guys, he selects those guys. You can only do what you do. So if I'm preparing, if I'm gymming hard, I'm training hard, I know eventually the door will break. If I keep kicking the door, it will eventually break down. So I know it's frustrating. Like, I know also, like, with the group I've been coaching now, guys are gutted when they don't make the squad. But you just keep saying to them, boys, keep working hard because your chance will come. You never know what will happen going forward. The coach might be picking set A of players and there are a couple of injuries and now you've got to step in. If you become despondent, you're not working hard, by the time you get your opportunity, you're not going to be ready for it.
True.
So just keeping ready, keep working hard, and then eventually when your chance comes, grab it with both hands and run with it.
True.
So that's like one of the biggest things for anyone who's not getting picked. Keep working hard, keep knocking the door down, and when the opportunity comes, don't pass on, don't miss it because you weren't ready.
True.
So be ready to take the opportunity when it comes knocking.
Very wise words. I like how also you mentioned coaching. At such a very young age, your career looking very bright also. What truly inspired you to coach?
So the coaches who coached me
Oh.
were always trying to not just share their knowledge on the field but off the field. So their life experiences, what they've been through. So one of my biggest things is to be a good person on the field and off the field. So my inspiration to coach is obviously I've got a lot of rugby knowledge, but I also can help like the youngsters off the field, and if they need guidance off the field, because I had that growing up. I had a coach that I can go speak to about all my issues, and they supported me through everything. So I wanted to then give that to the next generation coming up and through.
Yeah. Apart from coaching, I also read up that you have a strong desire to put kids through school. What inspired that also?
So LeBron James actually
Wow, yeah.
I'm a follow basketball quite closely, but I saw he opened up a whole school in Akron.
Yeah.
Overseas there, and he, like every kid who goes through that school gets like immediate entrance into the varsity, and just what he's given back to that community. I'd love to just throughout my career get to a stage where I can help put kids through school who haven't had the opportunity to, let's say, get into the school. So like that's where my inspiration came from, and also it's just giving back, like being an athlete, like giving back to the country and giving back to the people who supported me and the schools that have supported me. So just to give back and to help kids who have a dream of becoming a professional sportsman or who have a dream bigger than what their resources can get them.
Yeah.
So like I want to try to help those kids who have the talent, to have everything just without the means, to help them get to places where hopefully where I can be.
There's a very strong relation between a young athlete and education, because you constantly have to balance and you can't neglect the other because it's just as important.
Yeah.
You're a graduate. How was that journey? The constant battle of saying, I need to work on my sports, I need to work on my academics. How did you balance that out?
So it was, and this is where my injuries probably taught me the best lesson, is so many youngsters coming up, you think sport, I'm going to be a sportsman, life's going to be easy, I'm going to play on the weekends, get the sponsorships. All of a sudden you get an injury that can end your career.
Yeah.
Then what? So for me it was always rugby is my plan A. Like I want to do everything I possibly can to make it in rugby. But if something happens there where I get an injury that I can't, that I no longer play, or something happens, I no longer have a contract, I need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
So that's where my varsity came in, and also through rugby, I was able to study.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough coming out of school to get a bursary from Wits that allowed me to play rugby for Wits, but at the same time get it.
And you took the
get a
qualification,
degree.
yeah.
So there's so many people who either want to get into varsity or can't afford to get into varsity or get themselves into debt trying to be varsity.
Yeah.
That I was given this opportunity that I couldn't have just let it slide.
Yeah.
That I had to become now a student athlete.
Yeah.
And it's tough. Like obviously you train throughout the whole morning, then in the evenings you have to go study, and the last thing anyone wants to do while all your mates are chilling is go and work and do varsity. But knowing that if something has to happen in my rugby and I do, touch wood, can't play anymore, I at least have something to fall back on and a degree that I can at least work and find work through.
Yeah, man, Travis, seeing that you're approaching the very mature years of your career, and now real things are happening, contracts are coming into place, what do you think are some of the factors athletes need to put into consideration when looking at a contract?
So it will be, for me, going to a place that backs you, especially for the youngsters coming through who are potentially getting contract offers. Going to a place where the coach wants to play you, choosing that over maybe an extra 1,000 or 2,000 rand would be maybe more, like especially in the early years of your career, is way more important than earning slightly more. Then also, at the moment in rugby, it's about getting into the system and staying in the system. So if you get an opportunity, that being said, at a place that you might not want to go or might not choose to go, but they're offering you something and you don't have any other offer on the table, go there and have a bite if that's the career path you want to go. Because there are many guys who've gone, there are many ways to the top. You don't have to go through one of the big four unions, or there are many guys who've gone to a smaller union, had a massive year there because they've been played, they stand out. All of a sudden a bigger union signs you, and now the guys are, now you're in the mix. But it wasn't the way that a lot of guys did it, but there are many ways to get through. So I would say going to a place where you want to be played over the extra bit, but also if you've got an offer and it's all you've got and you want to go for it, go there, make sure you go there, work hard for however long your contract is, and just after that you see what happens.
Nicely said, nicely put, man. Thank you for giving us your time. This means so much for us. Guys, you have it. Travis, the Gordon on the show. It was nice having you. It was nice having you here, man. An absolute pleasure. From the crew, from the people watching this and the kids. If you're not inspired, I don't know. The next World Cup, I know he's going to be there. I put it on everything. Thanks again, my brother.
Thank you so much, guys.
Sure.
Thank you, just if I can say something.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me, for being a part of this wonderful cause. What you guys are doing is really inspirational. I'd love to be a part of it. So thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. It's a privilege for me. Thank you.
Anything you want to say to the kids who are watching, the upcoming athletes?
Guys, dream big, work hard, and you never know what can happen. You never know who's watching you. You never know when your opportunity will come. But when it does come, just make sure you grab a handful and run with it. So just keep dreaming, guys. Thank you.
Travis the Gordon. Thank you.